Around 40,000 years ago, something impossible happened. Humans started painting. Not houses, not weapons, not maps, stories. Think about this. A cave, one of the worst places to paint. Dark, cold, hard to reach. Some paintings were created 100 meters of underground. No sunlight, no audience, no applause. Which raised an uncomfortable question. Who were they painting for? Certainly not for Instagram. Certainly not for history. Most of them believe no one outside their tribe would ever see those images. Yet, they painted anyway. Why? For years, archaeologists argue about this. Maybe it was a decoration, maybe it was religion, maybe it was rituals, maybe it was a communication. But the truth is, we don't know. And that uncertainty is important because humans hate saying, I don't know. We invent explanation. That's our superpower and our greatest weakness. Look at these paintings again. They aren't photographs. They aren't realistic. They are selective. The strongest animal, the most dangerous hunt, the most dramatic moment. The cave wasn't recording reality, it was editing it. Sound familiar? Because that's exactly what entertainment does today. A movie isn't life, it's life with everything boring removed. The human brain doesn't remember life as it happens, it's compress it, filters and reconstruct experiences. Emotionally significant moments tend to be remembered more vividly than ordinary ones, while many details are discarded or reshaped over time. Memory is already an editor. Hollywood, Bollywood, movie makers learn from biology. Now let's destroy another belief. People often say fiction isn't real. Let's test this. Imagine reading a book, reading a novel, halfway through, a character dies. Your chest tightens, your breathing changes, or maybe you even cry. Now answer this. What exactly made you cry? Because it wasn't a real person. No one died. Nothing happened except electrical signals inside your brain. That's extraordinary. A fiction event triggered a real belief, a real biological response. The tears were real. The hormones were real. The heartbeat was real. Only the story was imaginary. So maybe fiction isn't just opposite of reality. It's one of reality's most powerful tools. Here's where it gets strange. Your brain is constantly making predictions. What will happen next? When those predictions are fulfilled, violated or delayed in interesting way, network involved in attention, learning and emotions become more active. That means your brain doesn't experience story, it predicts them. Every question creates tension. Every mystery creates suspicion. Every cliffhanger creates biological pressure. That's why you say, just one more episode. It isn't weakness, it's unfinished prediction. Your brain wants closure. Entertainment industry learn how to manufacturing it. Now let's travel to ancient Greek. Imagine sitting an open air theater, thousands of strangers watching. Actors pretend to be kings, god, monsters, traders. Audience knows none of it's real, and yet they laugh together, cry together, fear together. Why? Because for the first time of history, entertainment wasn't happening inside one family or group. It was synchronizing an entire society. One story, thousands of mind, one emotional rhythm, thousands of beating hearts. Entertainment becomes social technology. The philosopher Aristotle noticed something remarkable. People often left tragic play, feeling betrayed. He called it a catharsis, the idea that tragedy could produce emotional release. For over 2000 years, people debate whether he was right, wrong. Psychologists still argue over exactly how catharsis works and when it does or what it does apply. But there's a bold argument that story can help people process emotions, rehearse social simulation, and reflect on different experiences. That's fascinating because your brain can practice emotions without paying the full cost of reality. Stories become simulator, like flight simulators, except instead of teaching pilot, they taught humans how betrayal feels, how grief feels, how courage feels, how sacrifice feels, without actually living though each one. Now ask yourself, if story teaches us how to be human, who write the curriculum? Because this changed everything. Thousands of years ago, the answer was simple. The elders won. The priest, the poets, the storyteller. They decided which story survived, which hero mattered, which villain deserved hatred. Story wasn't just remembered, it was curated. Entire generation grow up believing the same myth because there were very few people allow them to tell. Control the storyteller and you quietly shape the civilization. But then something happened. Writing. At first, it looked like freedom. Knowledge could finally survive the death of the storyteller. Ideas could travel further than voices. Memories become permanent. Except they didn't, because every written history is still written by someone. Every emperor writes itself as a hero. Every revolution believe it was justified. Every nation tell children its own version of the past. History isn't just what happened, it also which story won. And then humanity invent the most dangerous storyteller it had ever seen. Not television, not cinema, painting. Imagine living in Europe before Johannes Gutenberg. Books were rare, painfully expensive. Knowledge moved at the speed of handwriting. Then suddenly, ideas could spread faster than armies. The painting press didn't just create more books, it multiplied stories, religions reform, scientific revolution, political upheaval, everything accelerated the storyteller. Storytellers had become scalable. Notice the pattern. The cave, scaled memory. The theater, scaled memory. The painting press, scaled ideas. Every leap in civilization also a leap in storytelling. That's not a coincidence. That's architecture. Now here's the question I've been avoiding. If stories are this powerful, why do we call them entertainment? Why reduce one of the greatest evolution technology to something we consume while waiting for? Because somewhere along the way, stopped being tools. They start being products. Someone realized attention could brought, sold, measure, optimize. And once that happened, the goal quietly changed. No longer tell the truest story. Instead, tell the story that keep people watching. And that may be the single most important shift in the history of entertainment. Because from this point onward, we are no longer studying human psychology. We are studying an industry that learn how to engineer it. And once entertainment become engineering, it's stop asking what story should we tell. It's asking what story can't you stop watching